Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to the channel of chilled, relaxed plant content where we talk about our plants and we try to learn the best way to grow them and try different ways to grow them so that we can grow our collection and have them grow the way we want them to grow and do all these cool little planty tricks and hacks and stuff like that. If that sounds like something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button. It lets me plant friends. And yeah, hit the like, hit the dislike, however you feel at the end of this video. And yeah, so today, it's been a little over, I think, 3 months since I've made my last, Hoya Wishlist. I'll show you, a quick, there's a lot of cross outs, a lot of rearranging of stuff in my little book, my little notebook. And I just want to go through my Hoya Wishlist and kind of decide if I want to keep the plant on my wish list or not. This is kind of how I'm trying, anyway, to not, be a plant hoarder and just buy every single Hoya that I come across. I want to be intentional with the Hoyas that I buy, and, yeah, so I think I have a total of, 19, which is a lot, 19 Hoyas. So, hopefully I can cut that down to 10, and, yeah, and then I'll leave these Hoyas on the list until springtime, and then I'll go over it again, see what plants are still on the wish list, and then maybe pursue buying these plants either online or trying to find them in person. That would be ideal, but it's not always possible for harder to come by Hoyas, especially in my area. So alright, so I'm going to scooch over, I think, over here so that I can put up the picture of the wish list plant Hoya specimen that I'm interested in, and then I'll let you know whether or not I want it to stay on my wish list or not. So, yeah. So, the first Hoya on my wish list is the Hoya Bella. Now, I've imported this plant, I believe, twice before, and I failed at rooting this plant. From what I understand, this plant likes to be more moist than other Hoyas, which is strange that it wouldn't root because I tried rooting it in perlite, which I understand if I let the perlite dry out, but then I tried rooting it in water and it just didn't work, so I don't know. I couldn't get that plant to root and it just eventually ended up dying. So, but I still want the Hoya Bella. It's gonna stay on the wish list. Yeah, I want it. I've seen Betsy Begonia's huge trailing Hoya Bella with all the blooms, and I would like a little one of that, a little itty bitty one of that. Yeah, so it's gonna stay on the list. So far, we're 1-0, but we're still going. So the next Hoya on my list is actually the Hoya Lacunosa, and I actually have that Hoya. I found it in person. I purchased it a month or two ago, maybe? I can't remember. Time is not a concept that I I keep track of, really. So I have the Lacunosa, so I can check that off of my list. The next one is the Hoya Parasitica. Now, I have a Hoya Parasitica spoon-shaped leaves, and they have longer, they don't look like spoon shapes to me. They're just like a longer pointed leaf. There's no dimples in it. There's no venation in it. And, from what whenever I do search on it, when I look up Hoya Parasitica, there's a wide range of different types of parasiticas, apparently. I don't know. I don't know if people are just naming things willy-nilly over there on Etsy or not, but I think I'm going to take the Parasitica off of my list. I have the spoon-shaped leaves. I would like to have the shorter leaf one with, the ribbing and the venation, but I don't need it. So I'm going to take that one off the list. We'll cross that one off for now. And I prefer to have Hoyas that are definitely going to be veiny, where I feel like the Parasitica, I could get it and it could lose its venation almost, or just not have it. Somebody says it's this and it's not, and whatever. So we're gonna just take it off there. There's like too many varieties or variations of a parasitica, and I want to be intentional with the plants that I buy. So if there's too many varieties, I'm not gonna get it. So parasitica is off the list. My next Hoya was a Hoya Elliptica, and I have also imported that 2 or 3 times, and it arrived mush. You can check my import videos from like probably a year ago now, and every time I ordered that plant, it came mush. It didn't make it. So I'm gonna also, I think, start implementing this rule. If I've had it 3 times or tried to obtain it 3 times and it hasn't made it, I probably should give up. You know, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. So obviously I'm not going to be trying to import Elliptica. If I find it in person, I might change my mind and purchase it. That kind of goes for any of these plants. If I find what I'm looking for in person, you know, who knows? Who knows what'll happen? I'm not a fortune teller, but I'll probably buy it. So the Elliptica's off. The next one is the Hoya Imperialis. I've had this once before. It's a larger leaf, just like a medium green larger leaf. What attracted me to it at first was the flowers. They have these huge flowers. And it's kind of almost like a thinner leafed Hoya. A very green stemmy Hoya too. Where some of my other Hoyas that I do better with, they kind of like harden off a little faster. This one kind of stays green and yeah, it's thinner leaved. I don't do that well with thinner leaved Hoyas, I have come to learn. And I have enough like medium green or just plain green Hoyas that grow well for me, or doing well, that I don't need to buy more of them. So the Imperialis is going to be off of the list. Although it would be cool to have like a Hoya that blooms like this huge flower, but it's not guaranteed to bloom. So we're gonna cross it off, and we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. The next one on my list is the Hoya Globulosa, and I actually acquired this Hoya. I got this Hoya through a trade with My Clean Leaves, Nicole over at My Clean Leaves. We did a trade, and then I purchased another Hoya. And yeah, it is a beautiful Hoya. It is so fuzzy. If you can get this Hoya, if you are into veiny, fuzzy Hoyas, if those are 2 things that you're interested in, vein and fuzziness, the Hoya Globulosa, also called the Velosa, is the plant for you. I would get it. It's already put out a new leaf. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. The day that Hoya shoots out a tendril is going to be a good day, because then I know leaves are coming, more leaves are coming, and yeah, I'm excited. So it's off the list, but because I have it. So the next Hoya is the Hoya Bordenii, and it's a longer leafed Hoya. It has the lighter colored venation. It also sun stresses this beautiful like reddish pink blush color. I'm gonna keep this on my wish list. I want a lighter venated, sun stressed, longer leafed Hoya. I want it. It's staying on the wish list. It's a beautiful plant. Also, the Hoya Sigillatus is the next one on my list, and that's another one I think I can possibly find in person. It's been popping up. I've seen on other YouTube channels that it's popping up in nurseries. So I'm going to keep this one on my list. It's a thinner, semi-longer leafed Hoya that has a lot of splash on it. And it's a darker green, like base color to the leaf. And I think it would be a really pretty plant to have just trailing down. Yeah, so Hoya Sigillatus is going to stay on my wish list, and I'm hoping that I can find that in person and get a nice little full-size 4-inch pot, and yeah, it'd be so cool. Alright, the next one that I have listed is the Hoya Caudata. I also have imported this twice. The first time, I remember it rooted, and then I transferred it to soil, and then it rotted. I don't know. And then the second time, I couldn't get it to root. It just rotted and died. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to take this Hoya off my wish list. I have the Hoya Fufuensis, I think is how you say it. And it is very similar to the Caudata. The edges aren't really as ripply and as rough, but it looks the same. You know, for the most part, it looks the same. The Fufuensis is also a very fast grower, and if I have to choose between like a harder to grow Hoya and like a little, kind of like a knockoff but easier to grow, I'm going to pick the knockoff that's easier to grow, because the point of having these plants is to grow them, right? So I'm going to stick with the Fufuensis, and I'm going to take the Caudata off of my wish list. But again, if I see that plant in person, I might scoop that up, because I do like the roughly edges on the leaves. But it's not a necessity. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, the next plant on my Hoya wish list is the Hoya Sarawak. And this one has like the larger, wider leaves with the lighter venation in it. I also heard it's a relatively easy grower, and I don't really have anything that looks like the Sarawak in my collection at the moment. So I think I'm gonna get it. I think I'm gonna keep it on the list, and I'm probably gonna find it somewhere this spring. I feel like it's because it's such an easy grower, it'll be easier to find this spring, I'm hoping, for a reasonable price. So I'm gonna keep it on my wish list and keep my fingers crossed. So the Sarawak. The next one on my list is the Hoya Elliptica, and this is also a Hoya that I can happily take off my Hoya wish list, because I found it. I got it. This was the purchase part of the trade purchase situation that I had with Nicole from My Clean Leaves. And so I purchased the Elliptica and I traded for the Velosa, and it's doing really well. It just put out a new leaf. I'm very excited. It's a smaller leaf with like a base medium green leaf and the lighter venation. So I'm excited. I have high hopes that this plant is going to be a prolific grower in the spring. When it gets a little warmer, there's more sun, the angle of the sun changes, and humidity rises. I have high hopes for this too. That's going to just take off and be a beautiful plant. So it's off the wish list, because I got it. The next one on my list is the Hoya Rangsang. Now, I don't know. It's a longer leafed. It's a longer, very splashy leafed Hoya. And I don't know, because I have the Pupa Calyx, and that's pretty splashy. And if I'm getting the Sigillatus, that's like a smaller leafed, splashy Hoya. But there's something about that splash, the way it's like, I don't know actually if it is like a stable splash or like a consistent splash, but I've never seen like a posting for like a reverted Rangsang. So I think I'm going to keep it on the list. I think I'm going to do a little bit more research to find out how like stable the splashiness is to that leaf, to those leaves. And yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Have like the little Sigillatus splash leaf, and then the larger Rangsang splash leaf, and then the medium-sized Pupa Calyx splash leaf. I'm just gonna keep it on my wish list. The next Hoya on my list is the Hoya Polynura, and I imported this, I believe, once, and it came mush because it's a thinner leafed Hoya. But I think I want it. I think I'm going to try again. I think I'm going to maybe purchase it in the States. I think that's going to be the goal this year, is kind of like purchase it in like more local areas and not import plants, because I don't know. I'm hoping it would mean that I have a better success rate at rooting them and acclimating them to my area. But the Polynera is just pretty. It's got some venation on it. The sheep, the sheep, the leaf shape is something that I don't have in my collection, and yeah, I wanna try it. I've heard, from what I've seen and what I've heard, is once it gets rooted and established, it takes off growing. So again, this might be like the Sarawak, where it's more readily available this year, and hopefully I can get it more locally and we can have better success and it'll grow and it'll be a beautiful plant. And yeah, so we're keeping it on the list. The next one is the Hoya Mathilde. And this is another one. I've imported it at least once, maybe twice, and I couldn't get it to root. Like, in water, I think I moved it from perlite into water because it wasn't rooting in the perlite, and it just slowly died off. I had a huge cutting of it imported to me too, and it just slowly just kept dying back, and it wouldn't root. So, I don't know. If I can find this, I'm going to keep it on the list because I think I'll be able to find it locally, and I think if I can get one that's already rooted, it'll be good. Yeah. Plus, I don't really have that many small leaf Hoyas. The ones that I do have, I'm struggling with, and they're kind of like a boring leaf, either shape or texture, or there's nothing fancy about the little leaf Hoyas that I have right now. So the Mathilde at least is like, you know, cute. It reminds me of like a little thumbprint, like a whole bunch of little thumbprints. So we're gonna keep it on the list, and we're gonna find it eventually, I think. The next one is the Hoya Vitalinoides, and this is another veiny Hoya, but I don't think I need the Vitalinoides and the Sarawak. And I think the Sarawak is an easier plant to obtain and to grow, and I think I'm going to take this plant off my wish list. I'm going to stick to the Sarawak. We're going to do that for now. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm keeping a lot of these, but anyway. The Hoya Latifolia, like the dinner plate Hoya. I have the Macrophylla albomarginata, which is now reclassified as a Latifolia, I guess albomarginata. And it also is like a lighter veined Hoya, which is similar to the Sarawak. And if I already have the Macrophylla, I don't think I need the Latifolia and also the Sarawak. So I'm going to take this one off of my list. Yeah, I'm going to take this one off. I don't need all of those. I don't need them all. I want them all, but I don't need them all. Alright. The Hoya Serpens is the next one on my list. And I think if I have to decide between the Serpens and the Mathilde, I think the Mathilde is easier to grow. And I think it's a little more interesting to look at. The Serpens is like kind of really small, where the Mathilde can be splashy, and I think it can also have a couple of little dimples in it once in a while. So we're going to stick with the Mathilde, and we're going to cross off the Serpens. I think that'll be it. The Hoya Hanii, I think I'm saying that right, is the next one listed. And again, I think it's like a lighter veined Hoya with like a medium green base to the leaf. I don't know. I'm gonna take it off the list. We're gonna be ruthless. It's off the list. We're gonna really hope we can get a Sarawak that is good and rooted and growing, because I've crossed off a lot of the other ones that are like similar to that. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're taking it off. And the last one on my list is the Hoya Ruthie, and I have tried this plant 3 times. And the farthest, through imports, and the farthest I got was a green stem that I plucked in water. It grew like 2 leaves, but it never grew roots. I don't know how it did that, but that's what it did. And what eventually happens is, because there are no roots, and for whatever reason the plant won't grow roots, the whole thing just rots and dies. So I did try it 3 times. I should take it off the list. I'm gonna take it off the list. We're giving up on the Ruthie and those abs. But maybe I'll find it in person, right? Maybe. Yeah, so that's the last one. So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Hoyas left on my wish list. Okay, that's more manageable. I feel like that's less like plant hoarder / crazy. So I think that's better. 10 and under is like a good number to have on your wish list total. I mean, it's, if I add like my other genuses that I'm interested in getting, like I go over 10 again, but this is just for the Hoyas, okay? We're just focusing on the Hoyas today, and we have 7 still on our wish list. It's the Bella, the Bordenii, Sigillatus, Sarawak, Rangsang, Polynura, Mathilde, and that's it. Those 7. That is it. And the Polynura, did I say that? I don't know. But I think that's it. Yeah. Let me know in the comments below if you would have crossed off the same Hoyas on your list. What other Hoyas that I haven't mentioned are on your list. And do you also have a hard time like narrowing down your wish list? Because it's not easy. It really isn't. And yeah, I don't know. Alright guys, so that is it. Until next time, relax, plant, and peace out.